Hello. We continue our session for having the dashboard displayed for the stocks with the best and worst performance and the ETFs for best and worst performance for 2024. Last time we stopped at creating the file, making necessary imports, configuring the Streamlit application, and this part is done, so we can mark here plus. Next will be designing the Streamlit application, but before that I want us to redefine the scope. So for ETFs we are going to provide the list of let's say 15 to 20 ETFs, and among those try to find out which did the best, like the most popular ETF tickers. For for the stocks, I went a step forward. Our scope will be to get this dashboard for the Standard & Poor's 500 constituents. So today we will continue with getting the list of constituents. Streamlit cache data, and the method to find those constituents, get SP500 constituents, and this part of the code will retrieve the list of SP500 tickers. Now, where from to get this? We can use the FMP to get the ready list, but we can do it ourselves, which is way better. So let's find out from Wikipedia. SP500 list. Here we go. We're copying simply the link, and we will place it here. So wiki URL equals 2 and paste it here. SP500 table, the table of our data, is pandas read HTML among the wiki URL with headers equals to 0 and the first tab of it. So this will be our table. It will read the HTML file, the headers, and the top left column of it. Among the headers, it will take the first one. This part, headers equals 0, so it will start with the first column, and it will copy the most left column of it. And from this we will expect return SP500 table, symbol column, and what to do with it, make it list. Once again, we acquire the URL, we checked the URL ourselves, we got the URL and placed it as variable here, then we created an empty table which will use pandas library read HTML function. It will get from that wiki page the table, the headers, and the first column of it. and it will return us that column as a list. Next, we are going to get the stock data. Ref fetch stock data. Let's add also Streamlit cache data here, and explanation method to fetch stock data. Just a second, please. And with this, we are going to use the following. It will be including tickers as stock symbols, start date, the beginning of the year as a start point, date, and end date. This will be our method. Now, what this should do? It should create an empty data table, and for ticker in tickers, try. We are going to handle this carefully in order to not having any of the data, not to have system crashed. It should try the following: stock equals Yahoo Finance, ticker, history is equal to stock history, start equals start date, end equals end date. Excuse me. So if the history is not empty, start price equals to history, close, ilog 0. You remember this one? It was the first tab of the column of all the datas within the defined range. You can see that here we created a history data table, which will fetch the data for the stock from start date to end date. And from here, the beginning start price, it's the first column, and the end price will be history, close, ilog -1. So this one will be the last column. Year to date return, according to our formula which we defined here, will be end price minus start price divided to start price and multiplied by 100. Once again, in this line of code, we are applying the formula that we defined here. And running a bit forward, I am afraid that we won't be able to keep this in 2 videos range, so today we will do a little part and we will finalize during the next session. And with all of these calculations done, data append data to our table, which will be ticker, start price will be our start price, end price will be end price, and year to date return will be our year to date return. Let's add here also percentage to make it clear that we are talking about percentage and not the absolute value. And with this we are going back to handle the possible exceptions, except exception as E, Streamlit, error, F string, error, fetching data for stock ticker. If you want to explicitly display the error, we can add here also this and E. So this one will display exact content of the error received. And with all of this, we are going to have returned Panda data frame, which consists of the table named data. Let's recap once more what we achieved today. We created a standard per 500 constituent list acquiring method. It's here, it should be this way. We got the URL, we created a table, variable, which will read from HTML, the first column of the table, and the header will be the top of it. So within headers column, the first one. And after that, we are returning SP500 table as symbol in the list. And later on, when we will call this method to get that list. Also, we created a method to fetch the stock data, which is also calculating year-to-date return. So we can mark classes here and here, as all of this is covered. So this one will have created an empty data frame. Excuse me. And for each of the tickers from the ticker list, it will try to get the stock data, the history for 1 year, not 1 year, for the start date and end date, sorry. Then we will provide the 1 year calendar parameters as an input for the calculation for this. And if history is not empty, so we got the data for the file, the price data, we are asking for the start price, which is the close tab of the data received, and the first column of it, we are getting it through ilog, and the end price, which is the last column, index -1 tells us about it. We calculate year-to-date return according to our formula, which we defined at last session. And once all is done, we are appending the data for the stock to empty dictionary, or not dictionary, list, excuse me. We getting this as a dictionary for 4 parameters and then converting it into a list. So what is remaining to do next? Next will be the main application logic. We will create a page title and we will go through the selections, what our code should do if the stocks are selected and what it should do if the ETFs are selected, and do the same thing in terms of calculation, start date and end date, and displaying the year-to-date return for all the stocks and ETFs that we provided as an input. Hope this was useful for you. Stay tuned to our channel for the next and last video of the series. Again, I'm sorry that we didn't manage to complete it in one session, but I'd rather give smaller portions each time than exhaust with one, let's say, 40-minute video, which at the end will be just some kind of boring thing. And now we're trying to keep things sharp. Thank you. Stay in touch, like, share or comment this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye bye.